Happy Sunday. Well, I knocked out cardio this morning because I wasn't able to do it yesterday, just because I was tied up in the morning, really busy, had a lot of research going on and whatever. But my lifting workout went well yesterday. The only thing I wasn't able to complete was the dips that I'm starting to implement into my routine, and that's the old school way of doing it, where you take the 2 benches and you put your feet up on one bench, you put your hands on the other bench, and then you lower yourself on the bench that's behind you. Lower yourself as far as you can. I try and go below 90 degrees, but then you can like have your partner add weight to your hips and then progressively overload it that way. So I'm gonna start doing those ones until I get my power rack, just because I think it'll be something different. When I get my power rack, I'll probably just do cable push downs, because those are a lot more convenient. At least more convenient than doing any other type of dips. Maybe I'll go back to progressively overloading, like the regular, like conventional dips. But we'll see. I want to change it up for a while, because I think that you can definitely go lower on the ones between the 2 benches, but it's different. What I want to talk about today was weight fluctuations, and it's getting very irritating, to be honest with you. But I've been researching some ideas, and in all reality, I just don't know. I'm gonna play with it for a while, but I really don't know if flexible dieting is a good option for endomorphs the more that I play with it. And I've been looking for this, like, if it fits your macros kind of style of dieting. And I've been looking at like flexible dieting and all these different like protocols, trying to come up with the amount of carbohydrates that an endomorph can eat without raising insulin or spiking insulin too much. But in all reality, I think it's just, for the most part, it's all bad. The more I look at the data, and the more that I look at the type of control that I had back in the day, yes, it's kind of a radical approach in a sense of like not having much of a differentiation in your meal plan. But if you can differentiate your meal plan and have different things, if it makes it a lot easier if you're a meat eater. But if you can have a lot of different seafoods and these different things in your meal plan, then and different vegetables, I mean, if you could just add that, if you can have, like I was saying the other day, a personalized cookbook, if you will, then it's gonna make the process a lot easier. I'm leaning, the more I go through this, I'm leaning more towards, very low carbohydrate, man. Very low carbohydrate. And the reason why is because of weight fluctuations. You will spin your wheels. And I mean, I don't know if it's just me, and my condition, but carbohydrates bloat me up like crazy. I mean, I can work my butt off. I could train, and to be honest with you, I don't even know of backloading. I don't think carb backloading is even working for me based on the data. That I'm not saying that's the way that it's going to be for you. Everybody's different. But, insulin resistance, is a very like irritating and tricky thing. And to be honest with you, you just spin your wheels, or I spin my wheels eating carbohydrates, with my body type, and like I said, the thing I have to stress to you is that everyone's not the same. Every endomorph is not the same. But from my experience right now, it's, for a while, I'm feeling like it's better just to dump them, like totally, under like 20-30 grams a day. And I had some success when I was doing, I had a lot of success you know, my body type was different, but I had success when I was on the when I was eating a lot of fruit. And yeah, you're intaking fruit and sugar and things like that, and sugar in any form does, you know, raise insulin levels. But the thing is yes, it's raising insulin levels, but at the same time, it's you know, it's fiber, which, you know, endomorphs need a fiber-rich diet. So, you know, I would say my advice, you know, when throwing out ideas today and just going through my head, and what I'm gonna try for probably the next several days, is I say dump all the carbs. Just dump them all. You know, have some fruit. I'm not saying you shouldn't have any fruit, but outside of the vegetables and fruit, I wouldn't have any carbs. And I would try and get as many protein sources into my diet as I possibly could. You know, especially if you're not a vegetarian or a vegan, you know, you have all sorts of options. And I would just, you know, take like 10 days and see where you're at after those 10 days. And then like maybe add one thing a day. Excuse me. Add one thing per day, maybe 25 grams or something like that, and just see how your weight fluctuates, see how your body reacts to that. Because man, it's, you know, it's really tough out here, man. I mean, you know, it's, you know, especially refined carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are just like, man, when you're an endomorph, carbohydrates just are not your friend, man. And I've been very lean. And that's the thing, when I was very lean, when I was at my leanest, you know, the only carbohydrates that I was intaking for the most part were just freaking, man, apples. In all reality, that's the only carbs I was taking in when I was at my leanest. Yeah, apples. That's the only carbs I was having. So you gotta be, you know, you just gotta be very, very careful. And so, you know, that's my advice. Dump the carbs, dump them all. Take the time that you need to, you know, learn your body, you know, see how your body is reacting with not having the carbs. Now, that's gonna affect glycogen, that's gonna affect, you know, your workouts and everything like that. But, you know, I feel like it's more important in all reality to make sure that you're getting, you know, enough fat for hormonal function and your calories, which is going to cost you a lot of money if you're not intaking carbohydrates. That's another thing that I don't like about endomorph diet too, or the type of eating that the endomorph has to do, is it's expensive, man. When I was eating before, back in 2013, when I was still eating poultry, I didn't eat meat, but I ate poultry and fish and shrimp and things like that. I was spending so much money on food, and I still wasn't hitting the recommended calories per day. My eating window was 9 to 5. I fasted outside of that eating window, and I may have been getting per day maybe 1,500 calories per day, which is well under what I should have been eating, even at my lowest weight. So, I mean, at the end of the day, what I'm thinking today is that endomorphs are pretty much, if you want to be lean, endomorphs have to basically eat less than 50 grams of carbs per day, and that all the sources should be vegetables and fruit. And if you do, you should get as lean as possible. And then once you get lean and you're at that point where you're not spinning your wheels anymore, then you should introduce, you know, like some kind of like refined carb or everything or something like that every now and again. But be prepared to bloat up and not burn any fat for like a day or two. You know, plan on having to do like all this cardio and all this training in order to like get your body back to the point where it's oxidizing fat. But the most important thing as an endomorph is to like focus all of your attention on keeping the carbs like super low, leaning out first. Once you lean out, then you can like enjoy yourself every now and again. But it shouldn't be any more than like, man, like 1 or 2 meals a week. And I'm not even talking about carb-rich meals, man. I'm talking about maybe like a cup or 2 of ice cream or something like that, you know, to go out and enjoy yourself. And even then, you know, expect that crap to blow you up, man. You know, that is why I do these videos, is because, and I know this one's running along, but you know, I'm pouring my heart out here. You know, that's why I do these videos, because I'm telling you, man, being an endomorph freaking sucks, man. It sucks. It sucks. It sucks. It's freaking, it's terrible. It's a terrible way to have to live. And you know, if you want to have good health, that's why you see all these like black people walking around that are heavy, man. A lot of them don't know that they're endomorphs. A lot of them don't know that they're lactose intolerant. And it's crazy because, you know, I don't think that many African Americans watch these videos, and the information that I'm giving out on here pertains mainly to African Americans. I'm an African American. I'm an endomorph, which is prevalent. You know, insulin issues, diabetes, low vitamin D, all that stuff is prevalent in the black community. Blacks are like the most obese people in the United States. And a lot of them don't know that they have these issues with, you know, insulin, you know, vitamin D deficiency. A lot of them don't know this stuff. So I really hope these videos get to the African people, because they need this information. We need this information. I need this information. That's why I read it. I read and research everyone that talks about this topic, because I finally understood that this stuff is the cornerstone of achieving good health as an African American endomorph. Hats off, you know, to the blacks that don't have these kind of issues, you know, and usually they're in great shape, but a lot of blacks are endomorphs. A lot of blacks are, you know, insulin resistant, lactose intolerant, low vitamin D, you know, especially where I'm from, Seattle, Washington. Obesity is like rampant here. So focus, stay on your game, keep working, you know, maintain your work ethic. Work ethic is the most important thing that you can do to get through these tough times of trying to figure out your body and trying to eat right. You gotta stay on, you know, your cardio. You gotta keep moving those feet. Even if you're just walking, you gotta keep moving when you're an endomorph, no matter what. When I was at my leanest, I was riding my freeboard and I was running all the time. It wasn't weightlifting, but I was riding my freeboard and I was running constantly. That's the endomorph life. You have to move that body when you're an endomorph. It's like, that's it. You know, I mean, yes, the diet and all that stuff is extremely important, but if you want to have a lean physique, if you want to be chiseled, if you're an endomorph, you got to move that butt. You got to get off the couch. You got to move. You got to move around. You got to be doing stuff, hiking, whatever it is. You got to be active. You got to be crazy, radical action active. Happy Sunday.